Today we got another tool video. This is the Centek 6 and 12 volt 15 amp high frequency battery charger. The first thing you will see is that, or the first thing that stuck out to me was the writing on the buttons. You have white letters on a light green background, which is terrible because you can't read it. This is just one of those things that whoever thought that was a good thing, yeah, well, I don't even know what to say. I mean, this thing it's fine here, but you can't read the actual buttons. So that's the first thing that you'll notice on this charger. Second thing is it's pretty small, as you can see, compared to the big old charger. Now for the old one, I had to either set it to 60 minutes on medium and come back in an hour and just keep checking the voltage on the battery. I'm doing the same thing on this because the battery that I'm charging right now, it's been on for over 4 hours. I started at 2 amps, and this is what it does when it's charging. The charge light is on, and that keeps going on. So you basically have to take a multimeter and just check the battery like the old one. But this one, it's supposed to tell you that it's full, it's FUL on here, once the battery is completely charged. So it's been on for several hours, and that's only going from, the battery was at 12 volts to now, which is 14.6. So for car batteries, just use the 8 amps. So I stopped it and I started at 8 amps. And when you start charging again, this lights go off for whatever reason. Makes no sense because you kind of want to see it. But now that I started using it and testing it with this battery, you know, you get used to it. The lettering, that's really painful though, because you can't really read them. Now, just to give you an idea of what the size is, there you go. So there's a fan here that comes on when it does warm up a little bit. It's barely warm to the touch on the back and the top. And you have this plastic handle. By the way, everything here is plastic, so if you're somebody who just throws your stuff around, you're gonna break these sides or whatever, because this is all plastic. And that brings me to the actual clamps. These clamps are literally like the cheapest clamps that somebody decided to throw on this, and I'll show you why. Here is my tester, and these clamps are a little more heavy duty than those, although these aren't round, so those fit better on the post, but these are actually a little bigger than those too. So there you have it. So as you can see, it says ABS on there, and on the other side there is an opening you can almost see through, so the venting does work. It is very small, so that's a good thing, I guess. So let's take a look at the box. This is what you get. So there's a 3-stage charging, constant current, constant voltage, and float. So right now, because this has been on there so long, I'm not sure if this is still, well, that's how it looks when it's charged, but when it changed to float, I'm not sure if it keeps doing that, because that should have stopped by now. It's a 14.6 volts. I don't think it's going to go to 15. But in the manual, if you bear with me here, as I showed on the other video, you can see that more than 15.5 volts on the 12 volt mode, you'll get an error. So these are the settings on the manual: the winter mode and the 3 standard modes. So that's what I'm waiting for right now, is for that to either stop, say full, and that should tell me that it's done. But this is an automatic charger, that's why I'm waiting for it. I want to see what it does, if it does anything. So far I've just been waiting, and waiting and waiting. The battery is good. So I stopped it. I went to 8 amps, so hopefully I don't have to wait too long. Alright, the clamps on the charger, as you can see, they're even smaller than this tester here. Way smaller. They are circular and they do fit, but these on the tester are a lot heavier duty. So I think somebody just decided to get whatever cheap clamps they can put on there, which sucks. So aside from that, the other thing I forgot to mention is the size of the wire. If I can find it. Here are the specs. You can see the battery charger here. The wire is 6 feet, but the gauge is only 16 gauge. Man, it seems to work, but I don't know. I guess they're usually 14, I guess, from the other ones that I've seen. So far, it's not heating up. I am on the lowest, 2 amps, so the other battery, I'll try to go up to 8 and see how that works, so I don't have to wait so long. But the other feature that this has, or two features, you have this winter icon here, or this snowflake, and that is not for winter storage. What that means is that you use that option for when it's very cold, if you're in an area where you have snow. So obviously you'd never want to charge a completely cold battery, or a frozen battery. So take it inside, let it warm up for a while, and then you can probably use that. It doesn't specify what setting it chooses, but that's what that is for, the winter option. The other feature that some people may want to know is this is the run stop. If the battery, according to the manual, is below half an amp, or half a volt, excuse me, and the charger is not going to pick it up, but if you hold the button for more than 5 seconds, it will force a charge on the battery. So that's kind of a neat feature, because I think other chargers don't allow you to, or people just haven't figured out. Maybe it does have it, maybe it doesn't, where you can hold it for 5 seconds and it should force a charge on an old battery that it's almost or pretty much depleted. This charger has that, so that's a good thing. My batteries haven't gone that low yet, so I can't test that. I just got this yesterday, so I still have to test it and see how I like it. I do like the size. However, this is all plastic, so if you're the type of person who just throws your stuff around, you're gonna break it. This thing is not what do you call it, rubberized or heavy duty in any way, shape, or form. It's just plastic, so you want to keep that in mind. Now with that said, I don't know if this thing is gonna keep doing this, because that can go up to 15.5 volts, or if it's gonna end anytime soon. I'm hoping it will say full, because when the battery is full, it's supposed to say full, but here it's still telling me to charge. So what I forgot to mention is that when you first start it, you get the voltage, and then you choose 6 or 12 volts, and then the amp. When you start, then it goes like this, and then the charge lights up, but everything else turns off, which is kind of weird. But it is doing what it's doing. I already measured the voltage on it, and it went from 12 to right now 14.6 or 6 volts. Yeah. Another thing, I'm trying to remember off the top of my head from reading the manual here. If the charge blinks, I want to say this is when you start when you force a charge. I think that's when the charge will also blink, or the charge light will also blink. So those are the only key features that this has. It's pretty straightforward, as you can see. Standard AGM and gel. Standard is your lead acid batteries. AGMs are your uh, seal batteries, or your what did the manual say? Your no service require batteries. What's the word they use? I can't think of it right now. But and then of course the gel batteries. So we'll see what the other one detects when I get to it, if this thing ever finishes. But there you go. That's pretty much the Centek new microprocessor charger. For what it is, it's hard to say, but as far as the components that they use, seems a bit pricey for what they give you, but it's just a charger. So if it was maybe in the $30 range versus the 50, even with tax and the special now, I think that may be more on target. But right now, that's what that is. So I hope this helps. I know a lot of people look at the chargers. I've been looking for another one for a while, just because I want to get a good charge on those batteries without trying to guess when it's completely charged, and having it charged for several hours before you can really see where it stops. So I hope that gives you a better idea. I decided to stop it because I wasn't getting anywhere. So I decided to stop it and change it to the 8 amps and continue charging and see what it does. It is charging at 8 amps. Standard battery still now is showing me the voltage here. It doesn't do the little icon or the other blinking LED. And as you saw, I did press the start. So it is charging. It did start the fan. Now turn off. I thought it was going to stay on since I'm at 8 amps now. I want to see if it's going to get any warmer than what it was. It's barely warm. Now let's see if the battery is going to change. Battery is cold. Very cold. On the top, no, it's barely any heat. So let's see if it keeps going up. According to the manual, this is supposed to say full when the battery is completed, but I haven't seen that, and as you can see, it's at 14.6 volts. I just bumped it up to 8 amps because I don't want to keep waiting. There it goes. Hey, see, I'm glad I got it. So I'm starting to think that this goes on the there are 3 stages of charging. You get constant current, constant voltage, and float. 4 modes: repair mode, pulse mode, self start mode, and winter mode. Okay, not those. So I'm guessing that might be the flow if it doesn't change to full, but it doesn't say what it looks like on the manual. So when it starts charging, that's what it does. But let me see here. Show you the important stuff on the manual right here. The battery is fully charged, say FUL, and you get an error if it's more than 15.5 volts, the 12 volt mode. Bad battery, year 2, year 3 overheating, year 4. So I'm not getting any of that, but this is the number that we're looking for. So it is working, it is charging. Should be charging at the 8 amps, but it turns off. So that's why you gotta choose it beforehand. At least now I know it's at 8 and not at 2. So hopefully, I'm waiting for that to say full. So here's the rest of the information that I mentioned earlier. Winter mode, charging in cold battery weather conditions. 2 amps, motorcycles. 8 amps, mid-size batteries using cars. 15 amps, using light trucks. And then there are your 3 standard lead acid maintenance free batteries. That's what I was trying to say before for the AGM. Then your gel batteries. So that's the most important stuff for this particular charger. So I'm gonna wait a little while now since it started again. It is at 14.6. I'm gonna come back and see if that changes to full, since it should be almost full or thereabouts. Alright, so I just went ahead and stopped the charger, and even though it said 14.6, once you stop the charge, it actually says 13 volts. So it took over 5 hours just to go from 12 to 13 volts. And that was for about an hour on the 8 amp. So as you can see, 12.9. Got the meter here, 13 volts. So I'm gonna try the 15 just for the heck of it. The battery, it's cold, so nothing going on there, but I had this on for so long I don't even know. Well, see what happened here. Shut off. This is fine. So it just takes a little time for this to turn off. What we got here, 12 volts, and this is a 12 volt winter. So we want to do amps. As we go, 15. It's a standard 12.9. Alright, let's go ahead and start it. I'll do this for a couple minutes just to see what happens. So when you start it, I gotta wait for it to start doing that circle. It never said full. 14.6. It's what you're getting once you're charging, but that doesn't mean the battery is at 14.6 volts as I showed you. So that's kind of weird. See if I can focus on that. Fan stop. Let's see how long it takes to start charging. This is the weird part. I'm not sure if I have to press it again to start it or what, but I think you just gotta wait a second or a few seconds, because if I press it again, I'm sure it's gonna turn it off. So let me wait for a moment. It says charge, so it should start charging. Seems to take forever to start. Come on. Should start because I did press that and the light came on. So that's the thing I'm trying to figure out, if I gotta do it twice. No, you just do it once, but definitely takes a while for it to start. So it started again. So let's see what happens. Remember, I'm at 15 amps now. Just taking forever. And since the battery it's not hot, we're gonna try that. I think it might be easier to do 15. Alright, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Alright, I've decided I'm just gonna stop this here. I'm not waiting for the battery to go up to 15 volts, obviously. I was just waiting to see if this was ever gonna say full. It is not. The battery's already, with the charger on, it says 14.6, but without it, it says 13 on the meter. So I'm just gonna stop it because I don't know when, if it will say full. Obviously the battery's already at 13 volts, so that's a 12 volt battery, so it's where it should be, but this thing just keeps on going. So let's stop it and see what the voltage shows here. 14. Still says charge. So let me see if it'll stop, if it'll just turn off, since I already pressed it. That's the weird part, you know, when it stops, it's like you gotta wait for it to turn itself off. So let's see what we get. And we'll call it done because I gotta run some errands, and I've been at this the whole day trying to get this thing to or test this meter here, or charger, excuse me. So let's see, is it going to turn off, or do I got to turn it off again? It's got this weird delay, I think. Just pretty annoying. When you turn it off, it should just turn off. You'd think it would. So showing me the 12 volt battery. I'm at the 15 amps. It's a bit warmer than before, but not hot. So that's fine. This is the same voltage I get when it's charging the battery with the multimeter. So what's going on here? I guess I'm getting impatient now because I've been waiting forever on this thing. It's very easy to use, but it just seems backwards when you turn it off or stop it. And you don't know whether it's going to turn off, or did you turn it off or not. Okay, there it goes. So there is a delay. Why is it charging? I did not unplug it, as you can see, but it went back to charging. I think it defaults. Okay, so you gotta do it twice to take the charger off, not once. So if you just do it once, it just shows you the voltage, and then it goes back to doing what it's doing, or back to charging. It's not in the manual, so that's what I'm trying to figure out. So now that I did it twice, I get the actual battery voltage. So as you can see, it does keep charging, but I'm not gonna let it go. It just should be full now. But I don't know how high it will go. That's a 12 volt battery, as you can see. I don't think it should go more than that, or I don't think it would, but but there you go. That is the actual charge when you put the meter on. So I don't know what to tell you. That's just the way this works. But from what I noticed, don't do the 2 amp because you're gonna be waiting forever. Start with an 8 and or the 15, whichever. Even with the 15, the battery, the 12 volt battery does not get hot or even warm, so that's fine. And then on this one, on the old one, I just realized that it starts at 60, 40, and 2 amps. So the low would be 2 amps, and the medium here was 40 amps. So it's not even close to the 15 here, and that's why when I use this, the battery was pretty warm by the time I would touch it after an hour. Not hot, but just you could feel it. So that's quite a bit of an amperage. I never used the high one, obviously, or the start. This is a 250 amps engine start, but on the bottom here you have 37 amps engine start. So I haven't had to use that, but that's the difference between the two, the older one and this one, as you can see in terms of the amperage. So it's pretty safe to say that you're going to be okay with the 15 amp charging a 12 volt battery, regular, at least for the regular seal battery. And that's pretty much it. So I hope that helped. And there you go. So you turn off everything. It is powered, but I still have it plugged in there and on the wall. So let's see if I unplug it now. So it's unplugged. Still gotta wait for it to turn off. So you see there is a delay on that. Okay, it's just a momentary delay. So keep that in mind.